My friend said women only want tall, hot guys, so I told him he's single because he's bitter, boring, and blames everyone else, and now he thinks I betrayed him. Posted by you/special at 2872. Yes, this is a long post, but it's a long story, hear me out. My friend, who I'll refer to as Nathan, 25M, has had horrible luck with women for a very long time. He does have a bright future ahead of him, though, in regard to his career. He just graduated college last year and is currently in law school. However, he's been homeschooled his whole life and does all his college courses and law school online, not in person, which leads me to this next point. He's never had a girlfriend, never been on a successful date, is still a virgin, and low-key doesn't have many friends in general either, so his social skills are really underdeveloped. His only real socialization was with older people, parents, grandparents, fellow elderly people, and me. We met through family friends, so he was kind of raised very sheltered and doesn't have anything in common with anyone his own age, let alone women his own age. To top that all off, he's been nothing but super focused on school and being the best student he can be, so grades were his number one priority during his developmental years. There isn't anything wrong with that, however, he never took a break to live life or have any real experiences. Nathan has had multiple girls his family introduced him to starting in 2021 up to now, and they've been trying to get them to give him a chance, but they end up just not liking him. I really hate to not be on his side and support him through his constant rejections from multiple girls, but it's gotten to a point where all these girls have the same complaints about him. Nathan's about 5 feet 2 inches and, body-wise, very skinny/petite built. He is also starting to bald and has no bodily strength whatsoever. He starts shaking just from holding a grocery bag. I hate to sound rude, but the truth is the truth. He is built like a little girl and has the hairline of a father of 3. While I understand height can't be changed, and not necessarily his hair either, he can at least start working out and possibly add some weight/muscle to give him some manly appearance. So I mentioned him doing this with me in general conversation. Whenever I go to the gym, I tell him to come join me as a hobby or just to be my gym buddy. He declined numerous times, and the one time he did go, he struggled lifting a 10 pounds weight, so he stopped going. Okay, whatever. The way Nathan dresses is very grandpa vibes, tucks in shirt, dress pants/slacks and dress shirts on an ordinary day, etc. I asked him why he doesn't dress more comfortably every day, like a jogging outfit, a hoodie, some jeans/sweats, and that he should wear sneakers instead of Freddie Benson dress shoes every day. He doesn't think anything's wrong with how he dresses, and he wants to look professional since he's going to be an upcoming lawyer. I explained to him that lawyers dress in suits and ties, not tucked in button-up flannels. And they also don't dress like that every day either, just when they're on the job. Sadly, he wasn't having it. Then it finally hit me, it's his damn personality, or the lack of it. See, I'm not trying to talk down on him, but if we're going by objective reality, he has the personality of a brick. I've seen with my own 2 eyes how he talks to girls, how he acts on dates, etc. He cannot make a conversation to save his life. He is not funny either and has zero charisma. He's a literal mute on all double dates and one-on-one dates he's been on, and it's so painfully awkward to watch. It's not like the girls aren't trying either. I've managed to get him dates, however, they go nowhere due to his sheer lack of confidence, personality, or interest. When he talks to a woman, it's like all he knows how to talk about is just school. And if it's not school, it's just radio silence. Or some stuff that only boomers would understand or care about. I've also noticed how every time he and I go out somewhere, and I'm not sure if it's due to his size, he is scared and flinches whenever people walk past us. He's always afraid that doing anything or going anywhere fun or interesting is too wild or dangerous for him, i.e., concerts, bars, amusement parks, etc. So I did it. He whined and whined, kept being full of bitterness, complaints, and negativity, talking bad about women and saying they never want good men, they only want players or good-looking tall guys. So I ended up telling him straight out that the reason he doesn't get anywhere with girls is because he's a dork. I told him I don't care if he's a dork since I'm not the one dating him, but that girls crave excitement, fun, or at least someone they can talk to about anything or have fun experiences with, etc. I told him he refuses to change anything physically about himself, and to top it all off, he won't even make himself at least interesting or fun to be around, and he is completely dull. That is why he can't pull or keep. He then got mad at me and accused me of picking on him and making fun of him, and that I'm holding his life circumstances against him, no public schooling/socialization, to which I told him I am not and I wish I were just saying nonsense, I am telling him the truth. I explained to him that his lack of social skills and appearance isn't necessarily his fault. However, if someone's giving you advice on what's stopping you from getting where you want to be and how to change it, you should take that advice and quit complaining and just thinking everyone should accept you as you are, because newsflash, we all have flaws. I told him that if he wants to get somewhere with girls and not have constant competition, then he needs to have something to make up for it. There are plenty of lawyers and future lawyers in the world, and simply saying I graduated college isn't going to make somebody have a connection or attraction to you. He told me I'm jealous that he's getting somewhere in his life academically, and that other girls are the problem for not seeing his worth and future success, and that if that's not enough for them to be with him, then they're the ones not good enough for him. I have not talked to him since then, and I refuse to associate with someone who thinks I'm jealous of them for giving them constructive criticism about a problem they constantly complain about. My dad is saying I'm right, but also that it's probably an insecurity on his part and I should apologize and try not to be too hard on him. I feel like I shouldn't be friends with somebody who can't ever see what's wrong with them or accept their flaws without crying about it and blaming others, though, because that's just plain toxic to me. Am I the jerk for being brutally honest with my friend about why women don't like him? Top/relevant comments. Is there any chance that Nathan could be autistic? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of had a feeling for a couple of years that might have been his issue, especially since mental disabilities run in his family. His brother had Down syndrome and passed away. But even then, most autistic people are already kind of aware that they're a little different from others and simply just need to be told what to do/not to do in regards to social cues, and they grasp it quickly. Also, I've met many autistic people who actually had a personality. My friend absolutely refuses to accept that he's kind of a weirdo and that he has none at all, so I'm not sure where that leaves him. Commenter. Like you said, it's not about his past, it's that he doesn't even want to attempt improving himself. Going to the gym doesn't even have to be about working out, it should be about learning to socialize. Maybe he needs to take an art class, yoga class, or something just so he can learn how to talk to people in general before he goes on dates. Ops response. I've tried to introduce him to a lot of my friends, so he can try to have a friend group. He failed numerous times to get along with them due to a lack of anything in common or, once again, not being able to make conversation or even say something funny to at least break the ice. He also thinks they're all reckless, dangerous, and bad influences because they go to parties and drink here and there. They're literally 25 plus, so I'm not sure what the big deal is if they party or have a beer. Commenter 2. But as unrelated practical advice, I think asking him to do things he knows he would not enjoy, like concerts and bars, is not helpful. I would encourage him to find and pursue time in a hobby he has any sort of potential interest in. Because then you can talk to other people who also pursue that hobby, which immediately gives you something to talk about. Usually, it's not too hard to find a club or group for any potential hobby that exists. This is really helpful for people who are bad at holding conversations. Ops response. Oh, I've tried that. The thing is, he has no hobbies or interests. He's just school, family, and more school. I've recommended hobbies to him, like getting into cars, sports, even video games. All of it is unappealing to him so long as it's something fun and not something to do with being ultra serious, respectful, and studying, unfortunately. What kinds of things does Nathan like to talk about? He only likes to talk about boring things or things from hundreds of years ago. He'll talk about war, history facts, evolution/Viking days, etc. When I say boomer stuff, I mean he doesn't watch anything but the news, reads newspapers, I didn't even know they still made them, and only talks about work/school, plays bingo, and gets along only with elders. Yes, those could be his hobbies, which I don't have an issue with or care that he's into them. It's just the point that the women I know would be into him and have these same interests, he's not into. He doesn't want a girl in his league. He wants the popular, beautiful, charming women with multiple better options than him, but they also have to be a virgin and have the demeanor of Mother Teresa at the same time. Then, when they don't like him or have any of these same interests as him, or he finds out said woman doesn't exist, obviously, he gets all bitter and whiny. I don't know if he was raised on Disney princess movies or something, but dude doesn't want to live in reality. Commenter 3. The part about him being jumpy and scared whenever anyone passes by him is what stands out the most. Is it possible that he was abused? He was homeschooled, so no one would have seen anything, but a lot of times that is the reaction people develop when they have to walk on eggshells as a child in their home because they didn't know what to expect from parents and when they would get mad at something. Ops response. No, he was not abused. He was a very loved child, actually. Maybe neglected developmentally, but not abused. He's just paranoid of the outside world for some reason. Update 3 days later. I just wanted to say that I got in contact with Nathan and apologized to him for being too harsh towards him. I tried explaining to him that even though I was harsh, I was just frustrated and trying to help him since I figured he needed someone to be blunt with him, but it wasn't my intention to hurt his feelings or anything. I made sure to express that I do care about him as a person and just wanted to guide him since he seemed lost in the world of dating. He didn't really accept my apology, told me that I'm on the path to being a broke, loser bum because I'm in a different field than him, and he has decided that everything I told him was just out of jealousy. He said, and I quote, he is owed the highest form of respect for being a good man who is a future legal representative, and since I wasn't giving him that, we should stop being friends. He also attempted to tell me that I should watch out for disrespecting him because in the future my life will be in his hands and he'll have the power to put me in jail. I assured him that jealousy and the highest form of respect definitely weren't the case lol, but if that's how he feels, then so be it. At least I know I tried and did my part. I also wanted to answer some questions I saw people leave under the original post for some clarity. Yes, he is 5 feet 2 inches. Yes, he is very skinny and small. Every physical attribute I've mentioned and described is real. Some people thought I was over-exaggerating or just straight up lying, but I am not. For those asking how he is doing college/law school online, he was studying online classes at the University of Florida. As for law school, I know which one he is attending, but I won't say for privacy purposes. As for why he's been doing nothing but home/online his whole life, it's because his parents are really overprotective of him. They were constantly worried about school shootings, kidnappers, etc., even to this day. For those asking if his family is religious, yes, they are. However, mine is too, and so are many others. This has not stopped anyone from growing into a different or better person, nor has it caused me or anyone I know, besides Nathan, to have a one-track mind. For those asking if he is autistic, he isn't diagnosed, so I don't want to say yes, but does he exhibit signs of severe autism? Yes he does. The lack of social/self-awareness was a clear sign for me, but I don't want to label him that if I'm wrong. For those who mentioned how he plans to be a lawyer with no talking/social skills, I mentioned this to him during our last conversation. I told him to forget about women, and politely explained that he also needs to improve his communication and social skills if he plans to be a lawyer, because without that he isn't going to make it very far. He told me he's got it all figured out, and as long as he gets that degree, that's all he needs to be ultra successful in law. I told him that's not how it works, and you quite literally have to be slightly manipulative and convincing in order to make a name for yourself, because what good is your degree if you suck at actually performing your job? He once again tried to tell me that I'm jealous and don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, after all that, I've accepted that our friendship is over, and I'm not sure where he's going to land in the future, whether in regards to romantic relationships or his actual career. I was also the only friend he had, so I do wish him the best and hope life doesn't humble him to the point of no return. I don't think he's a bad person, just out of touch with reality, and I hope that doesn't backfire too harshly on him. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. In the original post, you mentioned that he had a disabled sibling who died young. Your former friend isn't necessarily autistic. His parents coped with the pain of one child dying by isolating their remaining child for safety. They kept him away from life experiences and developing social skills by never putting him in situations where he was forced to learn to interact with other people. He's wildly ignorant as a result, and arrogant in his ignorance. This is developmentally normal for a young teenager. Just how old was he when his brother died? If you have the mental bandwidth, keep a line of communication open. If and when he realizes that he's been neglected, he may reach out to you. You don't have to put up with any BS, but if he's honestly gotten to that point, a kind word or two could be part of how he develops. Ops response. He only died a year ago. Not long enough to shield Nathan from the world. They've been doing this. Commenter 2. Man, he's going to have a rude awakening once he starts working. His parents really set him up for failure. Hope he wises up, gets therapy, and starts working on himself.